Years after abandoning his bride at the altar, a billionaire unexpectedly encounters her at a cafe, but she's not alone. Sitting beside her are twin children who bear an uncanny resemblance to him. Shocked and guilt-ridden, he confronts her, only to uncover a truth that shatters his world. As emotions flare and revelations unfold, he's faced with a decision that will redefine his future. What he chooses to do next will leave everyone stunned. But before we dive in, leave a comment and let us know where you are watching from today. And if this story speaks to you, hit that subscribe button for more amazing stories. In the grand ballroom of the Crestview Manor, the air was electric with anticipation. The elite of New York society had gathered to witness the union of Damien Hawthorne, a billionaire tech tycoon in his late 30s, and his fiancée, Laura Chambers, a stunning yet grounded journalist who had captured his heart years ago. The floral arrangements, the string quartet, and the dazzling crystal chandeliers spoke of luxury and perfection. But behind the grandeur lay doubt, a doubt that gnawed at Damien as he adjusted his cufflinks in the opulent groom's suite. Standing before a gilded mirror, he stared at his reflection. His tailored tuxedo fit impeccably, but the weight in his chest told a different story. He was restless, his mind spiraling. "Damien, it's time," his best man Trevor said, poking his head in. "You ready?" "Ready." Damien wasn't sure. His billion-dollar empire had been built on taking risks. Yet here he was, unsure of the biggest commitment of his life. "Give me a minute," he muttered. Trevor raised an eyebrow but didn't press. The truth was, Damien was terrified. Laura loved him for who he was, not for his wealth or power. And that terrified him more than anything. Was he truly capable of giving her the life she deserved? Minutes turned into an hour. The whispers among the guests grew louder, filling the grand hall. Laura, standing in her exquisite lace gown at the altar, felt her heart pounding. Where was Damien? Meanwhile, in a dimly lit back hallway, Damien paced furiously. His chest tightened as the weight of expectations bore down on him. He loved Laura, he knew that, but fear had gripped him in a way he hadn't anticipated. Would he be enough for her? Would he ruin her life the way his father had ruined his mother's? Without another word, Damien slipped out through the back door, leaving his fiancée, his friends, and an entire room full of people behind. The years had been kind to Damien, or so it seemed. His empire had grown exponentially, making him one of the wealthiest men in the country. But success couldn't fill the void he felt after leaving Laura. He'd buried himself in work, avoided attachments, and lived a life of shallow encounters and fleeting relationships. One rainy afternoon, Damien strolled into a cozy cafe in a quiet corner of Manhattan. He'd been feeling nostalgic and wanted to escape the chaos of boardrooms and media appearances. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air as he took a seat near the window. He was scrolling through emails on his phone when a familiar laugh caught his attention. His head snapped up, and there she was, Laura. Time had only made her more radiant. Her golden hair was pulled into a loose bun, and she wore a simple, elegant dress. She was talking animatedly to two children seated across from her, a boy and a girl, both around 5 years old. Damien's heart skipped a beat. The twins were the spitting image of him. The boy had his sharp jawline and piercing gray eyes, while the girl had his mischievous smirk. Could it be? No, it couldn't. He hadn't seen Laura since that fateful day. But as he watched her interact with the children, a sinking realization hit him like a freight train. Those kids, they were his. Damien's mind raced as he grappled with the implications. Should he approach her? Would she even want to see him? Guilt clawed at his chest, but curiosity and a desperate need for answers propelled him forward. "Laura," he said, his voice steady yet hesitant. She froze mid-sentence, her face pale as she turned to see him. Her eyes widened in shock, and for a moment, neither of them spoke. "Damien," she finally whispered, her tone guarded. Her gaze flickered to the twins, then back to him. "What are you doing here?" "I could ask you the same," he replied, his eyes fixed on the children. "Laura, are they a mine?" Her jaw tightened, and her expression hardened. "What does it matter? You walked away, Damien. You left me at the altar." His chest tightened. "I didn't know, Laura. I didn't know about them." "You didn't care to know," she shot back, her voice rising. The twins looked between their mother and Damien, sensing the tension but not fully understanding it. "I made a mistake," Damien admitted, his voice breaking. "But I didn't know you were pregnant." "If I had," Laura cut him off. "If you had what? Would you have stayed?" "Damien, I didn't tell you because I knew you weren't ready. You left when things got tough. I couldn't risk my children's hearts on someone who didn't even have the courage to show up." Damien felt like the air had been knocked out of him. "Laura, I was scared. I made the worst decision of my life that day. But I've thought about you every single day since then." Laura's eyes softened slightly, but her guard remained up. "They're your children, Damien. Max and Lily. They've asked about their father, and I've told them the truth, that he wasn't ready to be in their lives." Tears welled up in Damien's eyes as he looked at the twins. "Can I meet them?" he asked, his voice trembling. Laura hesitated, then nodded. "Max, Lily," she said gently. "This is Damien. He's your father." The twins' eyes widened with curiosity. "Daddy?" Max asked, tilting his head. Damien crouched down to their level, a tear sliding down his cheek. "Yes, buddy. I'm your dad. And I'm so sorry for not being there." Lily reached out and touched his hand. "It's okay. Mommy says everyone makes mistakes." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of emotions. Damien spent every possible moment getting to know Max and Lily, trying to make up for the years he had lost. He showered them with love, not with material things, but with his time, his attention, and his heartfelt apologies. Laura watched cautiously from a distance, unsure if she could trust Damien completely. But as she saw the bond forming between him and the twins, she couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. One evening, as they sat in a park watching the kids play, Damien turned to Laura. "I know I don't deserve it, but I want to earn your trust. I want to be here for you and the kids, for our family." Laura's eyes filled with tears. "Damien, it's not going to be easy, but maybe we can try." Months passed, and Damien was determined to prove himself. He took on the role of a father with everything he had. But one day, during a routine visit to the doctor with the twins, he received a shocking revelation. Max and Lily weren't biologically his. The news rocked Damien to his core, but when he saw the twins' faces, when he heard them call him Daddy, he knew the truth didn't matter. They were his kids in every way that counted. Damien chose to stay, to love them unconditionally. And in the end, the family he thought he didn't deserve became his greatest blessing. This emotional tale of love, regret, and redemption is a reminder that family is built on more than blood. It's built on the choices we make every day.